Have you ever been on a dating app? Do you have one of them downloaded on your phone right now? Does the thought of downloading one onto your phone scare you just a little bit? If you're divorced and your answer to any of those questions was yes, stick around. This episode's for you.
Hey, beautiful disaster. Yeah, you. Here's the deal. You don't need to have your life together to start taking it back. You are not too messy, too broken, too old, or too late to start over. This podcast is where we turn your chaos into clarity, your heartbreak into healing, and your mess into your magic. I'm Marilee Grace, and together we're rewriting the story loudly, boldly, and unapologetically. Buckle up, gorgeous. It's your time to rise.
Hello and happy Friday. I am Marilee Grace, and you are listening to Okay, so here's the deal, a podcast designed to help you navigate and build an amazing life after leaving a high conflict personality relationship. I'm starting today with a little bit of a celebration. Last week was episode 10. And as I look back over the journey to get to episode 10, there were some rocky times. My early planning, the pre launch, the launch that didn't quite launch the way I wanted it to, and then all of the things that were happening in my life while I was trying to record episodes and the break that I had to take because I had some family things to take care of. I kept trudging along and here I am. Episode 10 was last week. So whoop whoop, I made it. Today we are on episode 11 and we are talking dating after divorce. Now, I had originally intended for this to be dating after divorce, talking about the apps, and then reading some excerpts from my book that I wrote after spending 15 months on the dating apps. Boy, was that a mistake. But anyway, I was going to put that all in one episode, and I realized that was going to be way too long. So today we're talking about dating after divorce. And next week, I'll talk a little bit more about the apps, and I'm going to read to you from my book, Right Swipe, A Quest for Love. And you know, I didn't want to rush through any of it. So buckle up, gorgeous. Let's see if you're ready to date after your divorce. Okay, so here's the deal. Why do you really want to date again? That is ultimately the real question here. Before we even talk about dating after divorce, why do you want to start dating again? Now, take that answer that you just gave yourself and walk it through the 7 layers, the smoking gun technique that we have done in the past. If you're newer here, that's a technique that I taught a couple episodes ago. I can't remember exactly which episode it was in, but it is a technique where the first answer that's given, we take that answer and we ask another question and we go another layer deeper and we go deeper and deeper until we get to the true heart of the matter, the true answer. And after about 5 to 7 questions, I find that we usually get to the truest answer, the truest real response. So let's work through a factual fiction scenario together of what a response to that question, why do you want to date, might be. I'm going to play both parts. I'm going to be the coach asking the question and the person giving the response. Okay. I've got this all written down. I'm going to be reading from it and sharing it with you. So, Marilee, why do you want to date again? Because I'm curious. Curious about what? I'm curious about the dating apps. A lot of women in my group are on the apps and they talk about them a lot. I'd like to be able to understand the conversation and I'd like to be a part of that conversation more. So, being a part of the group, does anything else about this make you curious? Well, sorta. Can you share with me? Okay, it's silly. It's stupid, really. But, well, the ex, I was told that he got on the apps like 4 days after the divorce and he matched with someone right away. And he's dating this new woman and posting it all over social media. I mean, I'm not friends with him anymore. I blocked him. But people tell me what's going on. And they told me he's taking her out and doing all these things. And I'm finding out that these are all the things that I used to ask him to do with me. And now he's doing them all with her. Well, that probably hurts. Yes, it does. I mean, I don't want to have anything to do with him anymore, ever. I'm the one who filed for divorce. I mean, I'm thankful I'm divorced. But sometimes I think it would be nice if someone were here to do things with and to do nice things for me, like I'd always wanted. So, being on the dating apps and finding someone to do things with, is that right? Yes. Finding someone to take me out on a date, to plan something fun for us to do that I don't have to plan and that I don't have to pay for. I mean, I had to pay for so many things, and I just want someone to do that for me. What he's doing for her now. Know what I mean? To do for you and with you the things that you asked for him to do for you, and with you the things that you asked for from him that he now does with somebody else. Yes, that's right. I mean, I'm not a bad person. Why couldn't he do those things for me when we were married? When I asked to do those things, when I even begged to do some of those things. I just want to feel what it feels like to have someone care enough about me to take me out for dinner and have a real conversation and then pay for it and not have to really be a what's in it for him situation. I don't want to owe that person something afterwards. So there we go. We went from curious about dating and the apps to I want someone to treat me the way that I begged for him to treat me for years. And now he just so easily automatically treats her. She doesn't want the ex back. She wants someone to treat her well. 7 layers deep, we get to the smoking gun. Now, I don't have to be with you to do this technique. You can do this technique on your own to yourself. You can verbalize it out loud if you want to. You can write it out. Um, me, of course, I'm going to be journaling it. I may journal sometimes the questions and then I write out the answers to the questions, or sometimes I just do a free write when I ask that first one and I know that I'm going to go deeper and deeper and deeper as I'm journaling. But it might be helpful as you're getting used to it to ask the next question and give yourself an honest, true answer. And if you're thinking to yourself, but how do I know what the question should be? Because in this scenario, I did more than just say, and what else? But that's what you truly could say to yourself. You could write out your response and say, and then what else? And what else? And what next? What else? You don't have to add some of that empathetic part with yourself unless you want to. Of course, you can be empathetic with yourself. But if you're doing it by yourself, if you and I were here, I would have empathy and I would be helping you to understand that I was tracking with you. I was listening to what you said, and let's go deeper. And what else? If you went back and you listen to that questioning, the question and answer part, the things that I say, if you just put, and then what? Or what else? Is there anything else? You can put that little phrase instead of what I said before the questions, and you would get the same results. And that's how you would do it with yourself. the seven layers smoking gun technique. And when you're working on this technique by yourself, just remind yourself that you want to get to the root. You want to get to the source so that you're able to deal with that, heal from that, voice that, work on that, work that out. And I think we would all agree that if you look back to the answer that was given, the very first answer, that they're curious about the apps and they're curious about what the other women are doing so that she could be a part of the conversation. That's kind of a silly reason. So we're kind of understanding there's something a little bit more. And I think that you would agree that neither being curious about the dating apps or wanting to find someone who treats you better or treats you the way that you had begged to be treated, neither one of those are really solid reasons for dating after divorce. Those are actually kind of horrible reasons if we're being totally honest. Okay, so here's the deal about dating after divorce. And I am asking you to do as I say, not as I do. Give yourself time to heal post divorce. When I was working with my therapist, she had said at least a year, two would be better. Working with my coach, she said 18 months to 2 years. So, two people that I trust told me 18 months, 2 years. But here I am doing the girl math, and that math don't math. And let me explain. I'm sitting here telling myself, well, technically, I knew this marriage was over in early 2019. But no, take that back. It would be like late 2018, leading into 2019. And oh, but then there was that time in 2016 that really got me thinking and journaling about it. So I really 2016 might or what there was a time even before that. See, I'm sitting here in my mind trying to justify that I had emotionally separated, but emotionally separating is not the same as being physically separated, as being gone. Okay. So, in my mind, in that scenario, 2018 and it's 2020, well, that's 2 years, and the divorce was final in 2021. So, that was actually 3 years. Or if I go all the way back to 2016, that was 5 years. So, I'm good. No, you're not, Marilee. You're not good at all. That math don't math. Girl math in this situation is not working. The true numbers. I left in November of 2020. My divorce was final in May of 2021. I got on the apps in July of 2021. November to July, in no way, shape, or form, makes 18 months, and it's definitely not 24 months. That math just don't math no matter how I try to make it math. So what's magical about 18 to 24 months? There's nothing magical about those numbers. It's called giving yourself time to heal. In 18 to 24 months, you can work through very specific things that are going to help you on your healing journey. Things that shouldn't be rushed, things that are important to your healing. They're things like reading those 4 books that I mentioned in episode 10 and rereading them as many times as you need, rereading parts of them, absorbing it, and then putting those things that you read into practice. There's also learning how your body specifically responds to times of stress and danger, the 4 F's, and then learning the different grounding techniques that I shared with you and practicing so that they become an automatic response. And it's not just practice them a couple of times, it's practicing them morning, noon, and night so that your body gets so used to them so that your body just slips into them naturally like it used to help you regulate yourself so that when you get dysregulated, you can regulate yourself quickly again. And then that is going to create a body that trusts itself. The danger's there, the danger's gone. I can calm, I can regulate, I can respond to true danger, not things that are just old habits, old patterns. And that is so important. And that takes time. And we talked about all those things, episodes 8 through 10. Now, this is going to be the painful part, feeling those hurts. It's hard to feel the things that pop into our head that get us going on that hamster wheel, that get us ruminating, that get us in that fight, flight, freeze, fawn state. It's hard to get off that hamster wheel, take a breath, and feel the pain, walk through the pain, not around it, not over it, not under it, but through it, and to actually work on that pain so that you can heal that pain. Absolutely 100% necessary. It should not be rushed. It takes time. And the thing is you're going to be on that path and you're going to find that you curlicue around and you're going to circle around and you're going to circle around and you're going to circle around. And it's going to feel like you're not getting anywhere because you keep circling back. But those are sometimes when you have to heal the different layers and you have to heal more deeply. And then you're going to go on your path again. And you might have to pause because there's going to be times when you're just like, I can't deal with this right now. I'm going to set this aside for today, and I'm going to go out and I'm going to do something fun. I'm going to go out and I'm going to pamper myself. I'm going to do some self-care, which you should be doing all the time. I am going to just put this on the shelf for today and maybe tomorrow, but don't leave it there. Get it back down, work on it, circle back around, and then carry on your path. And it doesn't matter how many times you have to circle back onto something that is painful. You work on that painful area, you circle back, and you heal it. And you ask for help when you need help. You listen to these episodes, you read those books, you journal, you do your grounding techniques. And I promise you, these things will work for you. And I'm a broken record. It takes time and practice. You also got to get through that first year of freedom, the first year that you're not walking on eggshells at every holiday, every celebration, every special event, special occasion. You're making new memories. Now, remember, I believe it was episode 3 when I gave you the trigger toolkit, and I encourage you to look at your calendar, mark the days that you thought would be triggers, and even the days that you thought might not be, but it could be. Mark those down, get a plan. Get a plan of how you're going to handle that day so that your mind is distracted and you're creating a new memory to replace that old memory. Because so many of those things were ruined by the ex spouse, the ex significant other, the ex boyfriend. Get through that first year. That's why my coach or my therapist, pardon me, my therapist said, give it at least a year because you have to get through all of the complete calendar year. Okay. So there's no shortcutting that. There's no way that you can just fast forward the calendar. It's going to take 365 days at least. Here's another one, learning how to be alone and enjoy yourself. Enjoy your own company, enjoying the solitude. Now, it's easy to start enjoying the solitude, but getting used to being alone, getting used to doing some things that maybe you did as a couple alone. I enjoy going out to dinner by myself. I like to people watch. I like to pamper myself at a meal. I order what I want at a meal and I have a very good time. Was it scary the first couple of times? Yes, it was. But getting used to doing things alone, dating yourself, vacationing alone, going places where you've always wanted to go and feeling what it feels like to do it by yourself, the peace that you feel. And then comes the joy. And you realize, whew, this is how I want things to be. And experiencing those things and experiencing the joy back in your life again. Don't rush through those things. Don't skip over those things. Discovering what you like to do, what sparks your interest. What are your favorite things to do, to go, favorite things to eat, favorite things to experience, new experiences, new hobbies, new adventures. If you were told for years and years and years that your favorite color was blue, hmm, and you're discovering that your favorite color really isn't blue, it's actually purple. I'm talking about those things because you may have been a woman who was told everything that you liked, that you should do, that you should order at a restaurant, that you should eat, that you should enjoy. Discover those. Find out for yourself, is this really what I like? Is this really what I want to do? How do I like to spend my time and who do I like to spend my time with? But before you get to adding a dating partner to how I like to spend my time, make sure that you solidly know beyond a shadow of a doubt what you like to do, what you want to do, what you enjoy eating, the restaurants that you like to go to, what style of movies, what genre of movies do you enjoy? Do you like to read in bed? All of those things. Discover every single thing that you possibly can. Can't do that in a couple months. Learn about self care. And I'm talking true self care. And then start putting that into practice. Create a self-care routine that nurtures your mind, your body, your soul, and you will just learn that breathes life into you. Now, of course, this isn't a complete list. You're going to add to it. You're going to have things that are specific to you. Each of us has different things that we would add to this, but this is a great start. And guess what? It is not something that you're going to be able to go through in 3 months or 4 months. It's going to take time. Now, let's look at my timeline a little bit. November to June, November to July. Got on the dating apps in July. That's what, 8 months? No way, no how did I get through all of these things. Like I said, you have to get at least through that first year, all those first. And then if you're going to add in the factors of life, if you have children, family, your job, the 952 other things that are going to happen in your life along the way post divorce, that's a lot. Those things are going to pop up. You're going to have to deal with them and you're going to have to be on your healing journey. And sometimes you're going to put a little bit of a halt on it, put it on the shelf for a couple days and get back to it. Takes time. 18 to 24 months is definitely not too long of a period, and it's not an excessive amount of time to spend on you. For me, let's see, I got on the dating apps in July of 2021, and it was October of 2022 when I told Hank, who was a situationship, and that's not his real name, it's the name I use in my book. October 2022, when I told him, he was exhausting me. It was just exhausting. And we have not spoken since. So let's do that math. November of 2020 to October of 2022. That's 24 months. And if I would not have been on the apps, if I would have said, nope, if I would have taken myself through the smoking gun exercise, which I didn't even know existed at that point, I hadn't gone through my coaching certification yet. I hadn't been coached very much at that point by my coach, so I'd never heard of the technique, didn't do the technique, but had I gotten to a point in my coaching, in the coaching process, where I would have experienced that and not gotten onto the dating apps, maybe I would have been able to shave off about 6 months of that process. And in 18 months, I would have been able to ask myself the question, why do you want to date? And the answer would have been much, much different. I can guarantee you the answer would have been much, much different because after I got off the dating apps, after I ended the situationship, I did more healing. And friends, we are on a healing journey forever, But I think that I would have been to a spot in my healing journey because I'm very much at that spot now where the thought of dating and the thought of maybe disrupting my peace and my joy, there's nothing worth that. Nothing will ever replace that. I, if I were to ever date again, the process would be so scrutinizing for the man. It'd be almost impossible. Now, I don't ever say never because I've learned that when I say never, God says, wait a minute, hold my beer, and he's going to show me that I shouldn't ever say never. But in my life right now, the answer is probably not ever. And that probably means never. And I'm not telling you to never date again. Hear me on this. I am not telling you that you should never date again. We are all different. We all have different situations, but I just know that at this time in my life, where I am, what I'm doing, I'm not willing to expend my energy on trying to figure out another person. I'm enjoying spending time with me. I'm enjoying spending time with my friends, with my family, with my children, my grandchildren. I really don't have a lot of time to try to figure out if a man can fit into my life and just how much energy I want to spend on them. I've got so many other important people to spend time and energy on and time and energy with. But I do think that if you come to the conclusion after you have taken the time to heal, after you have worked through that list and anything that you have added to it, if you come to the conclusion that yes, I think I am ready to date, well, number one, I want you to read my book. We're going to do excerpts from it next week. I'm going to give you my opinion of the dating apps and the ins and the outs of what my experience was. And from since that time that I got off the apps, it's been 3.5 years. I know there are more apps and I know it's even more confusing. And I also, there's another book that I'm going to suggest for you to read. If you are to that point, if you have given yourself that time, if you have worked through your list and at least a year, preferably 18 months to 24 months, and you think that you're ready to date, another book that is a must read to help you decipher the dating apps. A woman went through and really analyzed profiles, men's profiles, and what they're really saying. And it's a wonderful book. It's a wonderful group. I belong to that group as well. So I will share that all next week when we are talking dating apps and reading from my book. But just know, I'm not saying never date. I'm saying give yourself the time and then ask yourself those questions in 18 to 24 months because your answer that you give in 18 to 24 months might be a hell no. It might be a maybe I'll try. And it might be, yes, I'm ready. And it's going to be different for all of us. But take the time to do the healing journey, to do your work, to improve yourself, to learn yourself, to know what you will and won't tolerate and what you deserve because you deserve a lot. You deserve so much more than what you have experienced throughout your marriage. I'm telling you, you do the work, you put in the effort, you take the time to feel, you go through the pain and you feel the pain and you practice what I've been teaching you, you're going to get out on the other side. Is the journey going to be completely done? No. We will continue to have things revealed to us along the path. We'll remember things and we'll have to heal through all that. But it gets easier because you get better. You get stronger. You the process becomes second nature to you. It becomes automatic. So let's recap it. Dating after divorce. Number one rule, 18 to 24 months after you have left. Is there something magical about it? Nope, but we've got to for sure get fully through that first year and working through that list, and anything else that you add to that list takes time. You can't fast forward. you can't skip over. You've got to go through it. It's going to take 18 to 24 months. No girl math allowed. Do as I say, not as I do. Work on the list, add to it, circle back, read the 4 books, reread them, go back and listen to these episodes, and just work on your journey. Only when time and healing have taken place are you going to be ready to ask yourself, am I ready to date now? And at that point, give yourself the answer, work it through the smoking gun, and see if the truest answer, the very heartfelt answer, is one that really makes sense. Are you ready? And if it is, read my book, read my the other book that I'm going to suggest that helps you to decipher what is written in the bios of these men on the apps. And then ask yourself, do I dare? And then if you are, go for it. If it resonates with you that it's time, do it. But just always make sure that if you are going through it and you start getting any of the dysregulation in your body, you're listening to it, you regulate, and that would be a left swipe. Now, next week, I am going to be reading excerpts from my book, Right Swipe: A Quest for Love, my book about my 15-month dating app fiasco. I'm going to be talking the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between. Now, I won't be able to read a whole lot of it. Contractually, I think I'm able to read about a third of it. I'm not going to read a third of it, but there's some things that I really do want to read, and then I'm also going to give you a little bit of insight as to what I think about some of the stuff now, 5 years later, 5 years further down the path of my healing journey. Because as I'm rereading it to figure out which parts I want to read, I'm thinking, oh wow, I've grown from that. I'm way beyond that path. Just a lot. So it's kind of going to be fun too to share with you some additional insights. And then let's see, what else am I going to do? I'm also going to be talking a little bit about the apps. I was only on 3, 4-ish, 2 that I really used, and then 1 that I really gravitated to a lot. And so we'll talk about the different apps that are out there. And so next week, it's going to be a fun week. I hope that you've learned a lot today. I hope that if you are considering dating, that this episode is a timely episode and it makes you think, yeah, I probably need to work through that list and see where I'm at. And always use that smoking gun technique on yourself. It's easy to do on yourself as well. Until next week, remember, you are not meant to do this alone. Together, we will continue to rise.
Hey, beautiful. Thank you for spending time with me today. And congratulations for showing up for yourself. If today's episode was helpful, share it with a friend and let me know in the comments what resonated most. Your feedback helps me create content that truly matters as we grow this community together. If you haven't already, subscribe and leave a review. It helps this podcast reach more women who need this space. Okay, so here's the deal. You can find me wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. I'll meet you back here next Friday. Until then, remember, you belong here. It's time to rise.